So it's a fantastic, great pleasure to welcome three incredible women. I'm very proud to know all of you. From the sector, which is an incredible thing to have, and at the same time, and in fact, also on International Women's Day, which is even more special. So what we're going to do with this incredible panel is share to this community of fundraisers around Unicef. 20 countries represented. We've got a lot of participants here who are really interested in learning from your perspective, looking back on the last year, which has been tough for everyone, but any lessons you've got in terms of resilience and what you might have learned. And then a second question is what, looking forward, you might do differently. And it's really pertinent because the theme of International Women's Day is choose to challenge. And so we're just at that reflective moment as we look forward to the next year. So we're looking forward to hearing your views and perspectives and help this incredible community in UNICEF move forward. I'm just going to ask you very briefly to do a little introduction just for each of you, just to sort of set the scene. You literally span the world as we talk at the moment, and I just think that's absolutely incredible. Michelle.
Kia ora, my name is Michelle Berriman and I'm the Executive Director of the Fundraising Institute of New Zealand. You might already notice I don't have a typical Kiwi accent. I hail from Scotland, but I've been out here for 14 years and very privileged to now be an honorary Kiwi.
Fantastic.
And it's great to be here.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see you. Kim.
I'm Kimberly Blees, EVP at Blakely in just north of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and very pleased to be asked to participate today. Thanks, Stephen.
And Sarah.
Hey, everyone. Thanks, Stephen. And yeah, great to be with you today. I'm Sarah Scarth, Director at the Resource Alliance, responsible for our programs and partnerships, and I'm based in Cape Town, South Africa.
Tremendous. So look, let's kick off with this first question, and I'll sort of randomly go round and just ask it. The question we asked, and we sort of gave you a little moment to think about, was what did you learn during the last year, in particular, about resilience? So Sarah, should we just start with you? What's your view on it?
Sure. Well, my response immediately was, I've never had to dig so deep from a professional perspective. Share with you, 51 years old. I've kind of had lots of different jobs, thought I've worked really, really hard in all of them until this past year with the Resource Alliance, where we had to do a massive pivot. Luckily, we were already on a journey to build a digital platform. We just didn't expect to have to deliver it in 6 months, but we did it. And never again will I ever say that something's impossible, because anything is possible if you really believe in it and you're working with other people who are really passionate about it. And yeah, I've just been so incredibly amazed at how we can deal with the hard stuff as people, and particularly as women. Most of our team are women, and it's just been such an incredible eye opener, and I just can't believe what I've managed to live through and what I've gone through, but how we've come out even stronger for it. And I think what we're now delivering is even better than all the 40 years of what we've been delivering in the past. So yeah, it's and I think from a personal perspective, just that it's it's been really hard at times, living, being locked down. With 2 teenage boys, as much as I love them, at times I think we all wanted to kind of kill each other. But, actually that, we can do this. And there's been other times in history where it's been a lot harder, and it's a lot harder for many of my countrymen. And so just really appreciating what we have. So, yeah, that's really been my learning over this past year.
Thank you. That's great. And you're right. I mean, we don't necessarily know that we were that resilient. It's kind of sometimes for a lot of people a bit of a shock. Michelle, how about you?
Yeah, I'm going to echo Sarah's sentiments of wow. What did I learn? I learned that I definitely had the ability to cope with disruption, and I learned that the key the immediate key was to use my relationships and ask for support, ask for the help, and don't be afraid to ask. I know, we're always encouraged to ask, or, be mindful to ask your donors, but this wasn't about donors for me. This was about asking my peers for support. And we did one of our great examples we did was Ask the Experts, where I reached out to all my wonderful global experts and said, can you help? And the response was incredible. So I learned to ask for help. And when you ask honestly and authentically for what you need, people respond. And something else I learned was that to always back yourself. We ended up launching an emergency appeal for FINZ. And when I first put the proposal to the FINZ board, they said, no, too risky. We've never done this before. This might not go down very well. It comes at a financial risk. What if it's not successful? So I didn't listen to them, and I went away and found the backing to take away the element of risk that they thought was there, and found someone to fund the appeal and repackaged my proposal. And they were like, wow, this is great. So I learned to back myself. I learned to ask for help, always back yourself. But I also really learned that if at some point what you're doing makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable, then you're on the path to success.
Yeah. Uncomfortable. That's absolutely it. That's brilliant. Thank you. That's a great story. Kimberly, how about you?
Well, I've always relied on my sense of gratitude and positive thinking to kind of get me through. And I think resilience kind of was my middle name for many years. I faced a number of pretty major, significant sort of losses over the years. And like Sarah and Michelle, I came into this year thinking, oh, that's going to carry me through same old. Of course I'm going to be, fine in COVID, because again, my sense of gratitude is always that I'm a, privileged white woman living in Canada. And so my level of support mechanisms, et cetera, are massive and comparatively to so many people in the world, but never mind women. And so I just thought that would just, blow me through and everything would be normal. And I really significantly hit a wall about 4 months into COVID. And my overwhelming sense of loss, and all of the double the work, none of the fun. So both with the kids, Sarah, Michelle, like on the kid front, on the work front, on literally every front. And so I really found myself in a position where I had your point about digging deep, Sarah, really resonates, because I had to dig deep, but I almost had to become internally focused versus I have I've always lived large. And so, I have a very big external focus in my world. And I've really had to pull myself back in and find the resources in both inside myself and, like you, Michelle, really relying on a network of people that may have made an enormous difference. Being able to be clear that in order to heal and in order to get myself where I need to go, even just to cope sometimes, I've had to change my approach to that significantly. One, because some of it's not possible, Stephen, and others because there has just been, for me, a massive change in the way I've approached it. So my big learning is, like you said, Michelle, I have it in me, but it's been a real switch for me to find that inner strength and then sort of work out instead of what I normally do with my extroverted personality, which is work out and go in. And so for me, that's been one of the biggest learning pieces from the last 51 weeks. I'm counting.
We're counting. We've got a little 5-bar chart on the wall, haven't we? That's a really interesting perspective from all of you. Kim, I'm going to start with you on therefore, it's just the natural place for that would be, if you look forward to the next year, we're all hopefully starting to come out of this. What would you take forward, and perhaps what might you do differently now with that learning?
Yeah, I mean, I think like many people, I don't think I'm ever going to go back to, in so many ways, physically or mentally or emotionally, go back to some of the things that I maybe relied on or was doing previously. But I think, Stephen, for me, I've really recognized that this is a journey, a long-term journey. It's not you don't set a goal and then, you get there and then everything's peachy and you move on. So I think the idea of healing and the idea of, chronic stress, chronic trauma, all of those things have been magnified in this last year. And so for me, it's about the level of attention that I'm going to take forward, and being really mindful of my own, my own sense of, sometimes it took me a long time to label the loss and stress of the pandemic. I really just thought I would deal with it like I've dealt with everything else. And so for me, that's changed me permanently, Stephen. I won't ever be able to go back to where I was. And that's a good thing. I think those areas of resilience that I've learned about myself I think will have changed me forever.
Okay. Sarah, what about you? What will you take forward and learn to do different?
Yeah, I think, Stephen, a couple of things. I think the first thing on the work front, I think I've always just really tried hard to be super professional. And so, and that's good in many ways. I mean, we all kind of say, well, what's bad about that? But there's also kind of a veneer. And this pandemic has forced us, we're all sharing our homes with each other. And it's forced me to actually be more vulnerable. I've really embraced and learned to embrace the opportunity to connect very deeply with people who before, I don't know if I would have had conversations with them the way that I've had over the thousands of Zoom calls that I've had. But I've really, because I've worked so far away from our core team who are based in London, I've just loved that I've now got this shared reality with hundreds of people who we're all living through the same thing. And so that might probably never happen in our lifetime, please not. But actually, what has it taught me about building relationships and actually just breaking down that veneer and just being really honest and really personal with people? Because at the end of the day, it's all about relationships. We learn this in fundraising all the time, but it is about relationships. And then I think just on a personal level, I just filled every single moment of my life. I just was very proud when I was able to say, well, between 8:30 and 9, I'll be doing this. And between 11 and 12, I'll do that. And, and I'll make sure that I've sorted this out. And, at the end of the day, I'll feel very proud of myself. But the combination of all that is a very, very busy life, rushing from one thing and never really stopping. And what has this pandemic done is forced us to stop. We were locked in the beginning for like 2 months almost. We couldn't even leave our homes other than to shop or get medical assistance. And it's just those quiet moments now, and that peace is a new learned behavior that I'm just very, very grateful for. I don't think I would have I'd have embraced that without the pandemic. So I'm not going back to filling every moment again after we're through this.
Powerful lesson. Michelle, how about you?
I agree. I adopted a very an attitude of survival very early, and it came at a cost to my own personal well-being. And round about November, when I had finally realised I had achieved everything that I kind of had set out to do, I fell apart. I'm a mum to 5 kids, and I think, it came at a cost to my family. And I realised, actually, I can't do everything for everyone all of the time. And it's okay just to be good and not to strive for excellence every single day. And I burnt myself out. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel isolated. And it's okay to doubt yourself, and all of those feelings of, I think well-being. And just what I'm going to learn is that I don't have to work at 150 miles every day. I need to reduce the expectations of myself so that I can keep the momentum that I've started, because the pace that I worked at last year was not sustainable, and it's not acceptable. But it was, when you look at resilience, the 7 steps, the 7 principles of resilience, an attitude of survival is one of them. But you can't adopt that attitude on a permanent basis, or it will come at a cost to your own personal well-being. So that's what I'm learning, to slow down and take a breath.
Well, that was full of absolute wisdom and nuggets. I can't honestly thank you enough. You know, that was incredible. There's a stack of learning in everything you've said there, and plenty for, you know, this incredible audience to go away and think around now. And, you know, that theme of choose to challenge is absolutely perfect for International Women's Day. So thank you very, very much. Appreciate you all, and, you know, good luck for the rest of the year.
Have a wonderful conference, everyone, and it was lovely to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
All the best.